All right, let's talk F1 tech. You hear the commentators mention hybrid power all the time, but what does that actually mean? It's pretty much the secret sauce behind the mind-blowing speed of modern F1 cars. And it all comes down to a really cool evolution in technology, from KERS to ERS. Let's dive in and decode it.
So, yeah, what is it that really puts the hybrid in a Formula One car? I can tell you it's a lot more than just sticking a battery in there. It's a completely different way of thinking about energy, and honestly, it totally transformed the entire sport.
The secret is this thing called the hybrid system. You gotta understand, it turns the car from just being an engine on wheels into this super sophisticated energy recycling machine. It's all designed to squeeze every last little drop of performance out of the car.
So at its core, an F1 hybrid system is all about recycling. I mean, think about it. It captures energy that would normally just, poof, disappear. We're talking about the insane heat from the exhaust and the massive forces you get from braking. It takes all that wasted energy and turns it into an electrical boost the driver can actually use. This is where you see raw power meet incredible efficiency.
Okay, so to really appreciate the revolution that is ERS, we have to go back to the beginning. Let's rewind the clock a bit and talk about the pioneer, the one that started it all, KERS.
Right, so KERS, that stands for Kinetic Energy Recovery System. It first showed up on the scene back in 2009, and then it really became a key part of the cars from 2011 to 2013. This was the sport's very first dip into hybrid power, and believe me, it was a game changer.
So what did KERS do? Well, it gave drivers a brand new weapon, an extra 80 horsepower on demand. Now, in a sport that's decided by thousands of a second, a boost like that is huge. Whether you're trying to pull off a massive overtake or just defend your position, it was absolutely critical.
But here's the catch. That power wasn't unlimited, not even close. Drivers only had about 6.7 seconds of that 80 horsepower boost available to them per lap. So that turned it into this high-stakes strategic tool, right? You had to use it at the absolute perfect moment.
The process itself was actually pretty straightforward. So when the driver slams on the brakes, the MGUK, that's the motor generator unit kinetic, it acts like a dynamo and just captures that energy. Then that energy gets stored in a battery, just waiting to be sent right back to the crankshaft when the driver pushes a button. Simple idea, but totally revolutionary on the track.
So yeah, the big takeaway for KERS is that it was a manual, push-to-pass kind of system. The best way to think about it is exactly like a turbo boost button in a video game, you know? Just a short, tactical burst of speed that you'd use for a critical attack or defense.
But you know how it is in Formula One, technology never ever stands still. So after the KERS era, 2014 brought this just massive shift in the engine rules. It kicked off what we now call the turbo hybrid era, and with it came a brand new system.
And that brings us to ERS, the Energy Recovery System. And listen, this wasn't just an upgrade. It was a complete and total power revolution. It changed everything.
So unlike that simple boost button from KERS, ERS is this deeply complex system that's fully integrated into the power unit. It's not just a driver's thumb anymore. This thing is working constantly, all the time, throughout the entire lap, managed by some seriously sophisticated software.
And here it is. This is the fundamental difference. KERS only got its energy from the brakes, from kinetic energy. ERS, it harvests from two sources. So it keeps the MGUK for the brakes, but it adds the MGUH. That's a second generator that cleverly recovers huge amounts of energy from the incredible heat of the exhaust gases. That was the real game changer.
So let's put these two systems head to head. I think when you see the numbers side by side, you'll really understand just how massive this leap forward actually was.
Okay, look at this. The difference is just staggering. ERS doesn't just improve on KERS, it's playing a totally different sport. By adding that second energy source from the exhaust and making the deployment automatic, it completely rewrote the book on racing strategy. And just look at the power output. We're talking double the horsepower for nearly 5 times as long. That's not a tactical boost anymore. That's a constant, integrated part of the car's performance for almost half the lap. It is a monumental leap forward.
So, why does all this incredible engineering matter? Well, it's not just about shaving a few seconds off a lap time. The development of these systems has had a huge impact that reaches way, way beyond the racetrack.
The impact of ERS has just been profound. These power units are now the most thermally efficient engines on the entire planet. They convert more fuel energy into actual power than anything before them. And this efficiency has unlocked levels of performance we'd never seen, all while using less fuel. And, maybe most importantly, this cutting-edge tech eventually trickles down. It drives the innovation that finds its way into the hybrid cars that we see on the road every single day.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought, right? Formula One has been the ultimate test lab for this hybrid tech. So, as the rest of the world starts to go electric, it makes you wonder, what's the next big F1 breakthrough in energy recovery that's being perfected right now that's going to become standard technology in the car you and I drive tomorrow?